I mean, it is an interesting bike for sure, because basically it rides like a really agile mid-travel bike, but with super sort of stuck down control of a much bigger, heavier bike. And I guess, you know, that's the holy grail of control for somewhere like this.
My name's Guy Kestervan. I've been a professional mountain bike and kit tester for nearly 25 years. And today I'm up Stainhenge Trail Centre with Ben from No Limits, who's brought along his absolutely radical Forbidden Druid.
So, here we go. Forbidden Druid around Stainhenge. And I have to say, conditions feel like they're going to be perfect, as long as I don't hit ice, for testing this bike that only got 130 minute travel, but with that massive rearward axle growth, is pretty much perfect for taking big rock slabs and big rock slaps head on. So, initial impressions. Well, the great thing is, I was expecting noticeable drag from that idler and then a chain device pulley on the underside of the chainring. So far, there's a little bit, but definitely nothing morale sapping. But then that top idler is bigger than I thought it would be, and it's steel as well, so it should last plenty long enough, even in typically grim UK conditions. And they've positioned that upper idler to give just enough chain growth for a good positive pedalling feel on the trail. Goes from about 120% at 30% sag through to 108% at full travel. Smaller back wheel, but this Ziggy Link in brings it in nicely there. But Owen's a big fan of proportional geometry, so pioneered it at Norco when he was there, and all the bikes in the range get a different chainstay length, starting at a super short 414 on the small, 438 large, which is what I'm riding, and then 450 on the extra large. Right, now let's see how it dances down here. Really planted mid-stroke, I have to say. Firmer than I thought it would be. Oh, landing is so controlled. This feels great. Super stable through my feet. Like a really tight, short travel bike. Something like a tall boy with a bunch of compression in. But then, when you slap it down hard, just proper cliche cat-like drop, and then the grip to really turn it in as well, although the angles aren't that radical. Oh, the landing on that, that's like one of the better really long travel bikes I've ridden around here. Certainly don't feel like a 130 bike in terms of what's coming through to you. Right, so let's get Ben's Bergtech blinged out beauty down the red run. Now I'm going to have to be a bit more careful because I've not got crud guard on the front. And in some ways it might seem weird that Forbidden have gone to so much trouble essentially making a 130mm bike ride like a 150mm bike, but this is so much more than that. It's got such a unique ride feel, and I'm amazed by how obvious that is. I mean, yes, there is a lot of wheelbase and rear centre change as you compress the bike, but it's amazing how much that just lengthening adds stability and lets you really pull that front end in, and the whole bike seems to just almost, as it stretches, almost gets softer, stickier, just glues onto the ground better. I mean, that makes sense, but I'm just amazed how kind of obvious that actually feels on the trail. It really is like a sort of race car with ground effect, the way this Druid sticks down. And chatting to Ben, you know, about shock setup, I've basically not touched it, but it just feels superb. I mean, the X2, DPX2 is an outstanding shock now anyway, but just because that rear wheel's moving back, there's much less of an impact to deal with for the shock. So peak loading is reduced, and the whole rear end feel is so sorted now. It really is sensational the way this bike handles proper hardcore hammer like this, and yet it still feels totally connected and feedback rich. You know, it's not just smushing everything and leaving you with nothing to work with. It's just totally anchored and glued down, but in a really communicative and feedback rich way. And when you ease off the pedal pressure, it just cruises really nicely. Certainly I haven't felt any need to flick that pedal switch at all. It's just got that real crispness and directness you'd expect from an efficient 130mm travel bike, but with that huge trapdoor ability to suck up bigger hits and landings without it blowing your legs up or choking the shock. Because it's a bit like being taught how to catch a cricket ball properly, you know, when your hands come back towards you and sting, you know, taking it all in one hit. That real movement of the wheel really helps the shock out mechanically. So in terms of actual angles, apart from that different chainstay length on every model, relatively balanced 65.6 degree head angle, 75 degree or thereabouts seat angle, and then 465mm reach. So yeah, it's a really planted, naturally balanced bike, but it really is that back end that makes this Druid something very special. So this is one section that really should play to the strengths of this Druid. Up here around these horrible little rocky sections just behind the turn there. That's a real nemesis spot for me normally, but took me time, got the front wheel in, and the back wheel just rises up slightly, but so much less jerk on the back of the bike. Catching hold here makes that a whole ton easier. And because it's not crazy long or crazy long travel, when you get the lines right and you're not getting hung up in the icy ruts, it's really nice and manoeuvrable. And also I've nice seen the ability to turn that front end in And maybe that's partly due to this Ziggy Link and the Mullet setup it's running. That'll naturally bring that back end in a bit tighter, but that proportional geometry and the rear end flow is outstanding down there. Right, so this is the run where big bikes normally really shine. Woo-hoo! And serious grippers, but that's the way that drops in. And of course, as you compress the back end, you're also lengthening the bike significantly, so you're adding stability that way as well. But oh, the way it's flowing through this. Apologies if the wind noise is pretty savage, but yes, the back end. And some people say it didn't pop that well, but working fine for me. And the way it's carrying speed across even these jankiest route sections. Oh, just lifts the front wheel slightly and it just seems to accelerate. Yeah, need to take that into account through there. It has got some definite handling quirks there. Nose it in. Go on, guys. But so smooth down there. It really is more like a 160, 150 bike through this stuff, and then the way it drives forward under power makes this seem like gravel, not boulders. Well, that's remarkable. That really is Druid wizardry. Just magicking speed out of that, where other bikes would muggle through. Sorry, that's a dreadful magical joke. I mean, obviously, this is a limited time first ride, and I can already feel there are some traits, characteristics that, on the ice, this Druid has, that you'll definitely need to learn your way around. Just where it accelerates on the trail and where it doesn't slow down is definitely different to a conventional pivot point bike. You know, nearly had me off there. The way it suddenly found drive and push where I was expecting it to hang up. Pretty much spat the bike out from underneath me, but you know, if the issue is getting used to a bunch of extra free speed, then that's something I'm prepared to learn around. And it's not just some Frankenstein lash-up proof of concept for this high pivot idea either. This is just a beautifully executed bike. It's built by VIP, one of the top carbon factories, and every part of this is just beautifully put together. The way the lovely double sliding today, the way the pivot and the pulley and the shock linkages and the rear swing arm are all packaged together is just gorgeous. And it's got particularly neat internal cable routing, really tidy little storage under the down tube. Got an auxiliary mount under the top tube for extra tool stashing. You've got room for a full-size ball cage. Got that little shock fender. But it's just the way this sends and lands and then lengthens into those corners and then powers out. That combination of stability and precision. Big bike, small bike, constantly changing on the trail as you want it to. and as it responds to the different loads, it's just so different, so dynamic. Yes! Woo-hoo-hoo! This bike is so just wonderfully different. And it's not for everyone, but oh heck, around here it is such a ripper. Whew. So there you go. I mean, very much a first ride, first impression this. There is so much to think about on this bike, you know. It's so different to the norm. There's quite a lot, you know, there's obviously some elements to learn in terms of the way the shock and the whole chassis responds to different elements on the trail. You know, I've been very much learning as I've gone along today, but it really does offer something very, very different and very, very compelling on properly brutal, big, slap rock terrain like here at Stainhenge. And if you're into your technical descents and technical climbs, well, this could be the real, you know, edge that you're looking for in terms of that traction, connection, that weird mix of kind of small trail bike responsiveness, tightness and accuracy, and then that huge almost downhill bike kind of landing and rock swallowing capability. But you know, hopefully I'm going to get a chance to spend more time on one and maybe even get 129'd up to try that as well. But it's certainly been a super interesting first ride. So massive thanks to Ben, who does Forbidden at No Limits in Malton. He also does Santa Cruz. You can see he puts together a really beautiful build on a bike. You know, he's done the Forbidden here with the full Bergtech setup on it. He's done his particularly beautiful new gilded tall boy there, you know. All the gold, all the bling. So yeah, if you want to talk Forbidden or Santa Cruz or, you know, anything highfalutin cycling in North Yorkshire, as well as coaching as well, Ben does coaching courses as well. But yeah, massive thanks to Ben for making his work for today, coming out and you know, following an old man around the trails up here at Stainhenge. Yeah, he's not Nutcracker XC anymore, is it, boy? But yeah, I mean, make sure you watch the Tech Talk round video on the bike. Obviously you get up close and really see all the beautiful level of detailing they've put into this Forbidden Druid. And if you do want to know more on Tall Boy, there's a Tall Boy live ride review from when they launched that the other year. But for now, massive thanks to my patrons, thanks to Ben, thanks to my Patreon supporters who pledge a small monthly amount to help with unsponsored videos like this. They get exclusive, extended behind the scenes edits as a thank you. Thanks very much to you for clicking notifications, for subscribing, for giving it a thumbs up if you really like what I'm doing. If you really like what I'm doing, I should say, please consider joining those Patreon subscribers to help fund the channel. And you know, it really is only a small amount per month to let me carry on capering around on brand new bikes and telling you all about them at a time when you're a bit stuck for a demo otherwise, really. So yeah, hopefully I'm providing a useful service that you're enjoying. But I'm wittering on, as per usual. I've been Guy Kestevan on Guy Kes TV, talking about the Forbidden Druid.